Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade Walking Shadow. I'm your executive producer here at Final Show Films, John, and I turn it over to our storyteller for the evening, Jack.
Hey everybody, I'm Jack. the storyteller for this Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, Walking Shadow, set in the great and glorious city of Seattle, becoming more blood-soaked by the day. We are missing Michelle tonight. Unfortunately, she was not able to join us, but we have the rest of our cast present and accounted for. Erin.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm playing Naomi, the Malkavian.
And Raphael.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Raphael. I'm playing Lysander, the Ravnos. There we go.
And John.
I'm John, and I'm playing Gabriel Adelmar, the Tremere.
And when we last left our vampires, they were on the waterfront at Gasworks Park in Seattle, meeting to repay a favor to a friend. Friend might be a loose term. But Crow, the Nosferatu informant that Gabriel has been working with off and on over the course of this storyline, called in the favor that Gabriel owed him and required some backup for a meeting that turned out to be with another Nosferatu, this one with ties and allegiances to the Sabbat, apparently, who showed up with his own repertoire of 4 female La Sombra vampires. As you guys have watched this quintet approach, there's a definite tension in the air. Crow and the other Nosferatu, who he referenced as Rasputin, seem to have some sort of history together. And the question is, what is the point of this meeting happening so late at night in a semi-isolated area of the city? So we are going to take it from Naomi's perspective first. Naomi is located slightly to the north, up on a elevated position where, as the all-seeing eye of the group, she can have a decent vantage point.
Right. So, I don't know if I tried this last time, and if I did, never mind, but can I tell if they have noticed me?
You did not try that last time,
Okay.
And you can attempt to distinguish that if you would like. Give me a perception and empathy.
Okay.
Distance and lighting, it's going to be difficulty 8, but you can reduce via your auspex if you need to.
All right. Is this site related?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. 6 minus 4 is 2. And I am using Auspex. That's 6 successes, 7 if it's tactical.
All right. It's slightly tactical, I would say, yeah. As you kind of watch down there, everybody's attention seems to be focused on Crow and the 3 who are with him near the front. You seem to have remained unnoticed, at least by the 5 Sabbat vampires down there.
And
No, go ahead.
One other thing before I let the stuff continue to move around. I'm gonna, once again, unless I did this last week and have just forgotten, if they have someone like me hiding further away.
Looking for spotters? Definitely.
Yeah.
Give me a perception and alertness, also difficulty 8.
Okay. And I assume that can also be reduced.
Yes.
8 successes.
All right. Looking around,
8 dice, got 8 successes.
There are a number of places where somebody could conceivably be hidden. You're not seeing any figures located, and given your tactical awareness of the surroundings, if they are hidden well, odds are it would be much easier to pick them up with an aura perception rather than just using basic vision, despite the fact that you have extraordinarily keen observatory senses.
Naomi's channeling a little bit of the owl thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh. Okay, given that, yeah, I'm gonna try an aura perception
Okay.
which I know I can't reduce, but
Yeah, perception, empathy, difficulty 8.
I mean,
can I spend for success on that? I don't remember how that works.
Sorry, what?
Can I spend for an
Spend
auto
a willpower?
success?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and you
'Cause
can.
I don't really want to blow my brains out with
Right,
this.
you can reduce the difficulty on that with Auspex.
Oh, I can?
Just not with your natural vision trait thing.
Oh,
Right.
no, I knew that. I thought I couldn't reduce it with Auspex either. Okay,
No, it's
cool.
it's the Spirit's Touch one that you can't really reduce with Auspex.
After I demonstrate that I don't know how my powers work, I'm making that roll, and I am spending for an auto success. So that means no botch if I botch. 5 successes, 2 of which are 10s, though that doesn't matter for this thing.
Right. So yeah, you look around and you do pick up a pale aura over by, if you look on Google Maps, where Kite Hill is located. It's faint, and you are able to, though, pick up a fairly, it's almost invisible because the dark blue tone of the aura blends in very well, but it's just bright enough to where it stands out slightly from the background.
All right. But
so yeah,
okay, you said blue.
Yeah,
isn't I'm going to murder you this very minute color.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's a very dark, almost navy blue.
Cool.
Up there on the hill, and it's located pretty much at the apex of the hill itself. There's a small little concrete foundation and exposed area there. So it's not undercover. It doesn't look like the person is attempting to remain particularly concealed, but they are trying to take a decent vantage point of the area.
For the audience at home, dark blue means suspicious.
Generally, yes.
All right.
But that's what you see. So, to the pair of you who are down by the waterfront with Crow, what are you guys up to?
I'm sort of just leaning slightly off to the side, being very clear that I'm watching, and intending to present the fact that I am standing by myself to not be a sign of weakness, but to be a sign of threat, to sort of disencourage anybody from trying anything stupid.
Okay.
And I don't. That would probably be stupid, so I'm not gonna do that. But yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say I don't know if I could, but if I could have some fire just sort of flicker across my hands slightly, but that would probably encourage fear and would be stupid. So
go ahead and give me an appearance and intimidation, difficulty 7.
But yeah, definitely doing the. I'm not standing away from everybody else because I'm an idiot. I'm standing away from everybody else because they don't want to be near me if shit goes down. Which is true.
That is true.
Appearance and intimidation, you said?
Yes, difficulty 7.
I'm going to spend a willpower for an auto success.
Okay.
And that would be 2 successes.
All right. So, you're projecting an aura of confidence, definitely, and you're catching some evaluating type glares from the 4 females. Rasputin's gaze seems to be focused almost entirely on Crow. However, at this point, Lysander, what are you doing? As I recall, you were sort of up on that first landing platform, slightly removed with Isla from the rest of the group.
Sort of flanking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're basically flanking. So what I'm doing is that I'm kind of slowly just keeping my coat open.
Okay.
And just having my weapons at the ready and making sure I'm looking between Gabriel and between Gabriel and his counterpart to see if anything goes down. If they give me a signal, I know that I should be ready for anything.
All right, give me a perception and empathy difficulty 6 then.
And I'm also keeping an eye on the La Sombra, but
Sure.
that should be as writ. So
Yes.
That's the 2 successes.
Okay. Yeah. So you're keeping an
have a
eye on the
specialty?
group.
I don't think I have anything for that because
you had
I
a
don't.
4, so I thought you might have.
his perception is eyes in the back of the head. I thought.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
it's eyes in the back of my head.
Yeah.
I'm more just keeping perception of Gabriel, just in case he gives me a signal. I'm not really paying attention to the vampires.
Yeah. So
The signal is vampires on fire.
Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
but you're trying to keep a good read on the situation, and it
Yeah.
does feel a little bit like a knife's edge at the moment. These are two opposing sides in a centuries-long and global conflict among the undead, and the fact that they're meeting at all means something of significance is occurring.
Yeah. Would it? So, are they able to see me or no? In this
Yes, they are able to see you from their perspective.
Okay.
They've come forward around the edge of that concrete barrier to a point
All
where
right.
they've got line of sight on you.
Can I just see if I can make a roll to see if I can sense or I can tell from their body language how they feel about me being there? Specifically
go ahead.
because of the fact that I'm not Sabbat or what's it called?
Camarilla.
The other one?
I mean, you
Yeah,
are
Camarilla.
technically Camarilla, but
Yeah.
because
I'm
give
more
me-
into,
technically have sworn Camarilla loyalties, sort of, I think.
yeah,
You know,
sort of.
you sworn to your clan isn't typically either, but you yourself
Yeah,
have sworn
it's-
to the Camarilla.
Right.
But I'm just saying, just as they see a Ravnos there, just what they
Yeah,
would do.
no, as far as their perspective on that goes, yeah, definitely. Give me a wits and empathy, I would say, roll.
I mean, they,
Okay.
may,
Difficulty 6.
they could mistake you for a Bruja.
That's 3 successes.
You are attracting a little bit of attention. Yeah, you are definitely the most unique person here. You guys aren't very well versed in the operations of the Sabbat, but La Sombra are one of the more foundational clans to the faction.
Yeah.
And Nosferatu tend to go where they're needed. And many have joined the Camarilla, many have joined the Sabbat as well. And so the presence of those is not odd in any stretch. But you, as a Ravnos, you are somewhat unique, not only in the scope of vampiric society and kindred politics as a whole, but Seattle specifically, as far as you're aware, there are few, if any, others located within the bounds of the city that have any sort of public accessibility by kindred society.
Okay.
So yeah, you're definitely a curiosity, if not a cause for concern.
Okay. I like that.
Yep.
Continue.
So Crow, having thrown his first jibe at Rasputin about being let out of the hole, apparently, folds his arms and rocks back on one foot as Rasputin takes a step forward. Well, my friend, there is a need for a trade of information. My companions here have generously allowed me to speak with my brethren on the other side of the aisle. Crow sort of gives a half snort at that, but Rasputin just continues. There is a book rumored to be in the city. A book that my friends are quite keen to acquire. Of course, aggressive negotiations are unpleasant for everyone involved, so as one of the leaders of the Nosferatu community here within Seattle, we thought it behooved us to offer a more cordial means of exchange before there is too much further unpleasantness between our two camps. Crow seems to consider for a moment, gives a slight nod. And what do you offer in exchange? And Rasputin holds out an envelope. Looks to be maybe 1 or 2 sheets of paper inside based on the thickness of it. And Crow pulls out a hand and just it vanishes into his ragged coat. And why did you wish to contact me rather than those higher up in the hierarchy? Rasputin grins and then looks over Crow's shoulder and locks eyes with Gabriel. It has come to our attention that these friends of yours are rumored to have held it, or at least have knowledge of where this book lies. So, rather than going through channels, I prefer to cut straight to the source. After all, I'm only allowed out of the hole, as you so classily put it, for very special occasions. Crow nods and then makes a slightly retreative gesture with his hand, indicating for the rest of you to move back up the stairs. I will consult with my comrades. We'll see if we can come to some sort of arrangement. Same time tomorrow night? Rasputin nods, and he and the other 4 begin to drift back the way they came down along the waterfront.
As they're moving back, I'm looking towards where I saw that aura before, trying to pick it up again.
It has not moved.
Okay.
I will. Once Crow starts moving, I will move, but I'll remain planted until he makes towards the stairs.
He'll wait until they're about
as they move.
He'll wait until they're about 10, 15 yards away, and then he'll start to back away, keeping his eyes on them.
Yep.
However.
Yeah.
Same thing, like step off, because I'm actually leaning against the wall, so I just sort of step off and shoop over to the stairs.
And he'll watch them out of sight, and once they've turned the corner to start going back up the hill, he'll turn to face the 3 of you. So, what is this book, they question us?
I imagine it's the Book of Nod that they seem to think was in the Tremere's hands recently. I'm sure you heard about the attack on the Chantry.
Indeed, yes. I kept apprised of that.
That was what they were after.
So not just general knowledge. They had a specific goal in mind, yes?
Yes. They believed they were told by someone calling themselves the poet that they were, or somebody that they called the poet at the very least, that the book, specifically of Nod, was within the Chantry.
Poet, yes?
Yes.
Miss Ali, your sire, he was a poet, was he not? Isla kind of looks deer in headlights-ish at the question. And gives a brief nod. And the Tremere, they do possess this book?
If we possessed the Book of Nod, they wouldn't have gotten into the building.
Well, Rasputin, though an opponent of mine, is not without resources, and he is talented, insightful, and one not given to accepting hearsay and rumor as fact. So, what do you know of the Book of Nod?
What do I know of the Book of Nod?
Just before things get away, I am keeping an eye on that aura still.
Okay. That aura will eventually be joined by the other 5, and then they
Okay.
all just retreat down the far side of the hill, and you lose sight of them.
But no sniper bullets aimed at me or anything.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Great. Because I don't think I could take a sniper bullet.
No.
Oh, it'd be bashing damage to you unless he landed it in your head.
Yeah.
So, intelligence and occult, difficulty 8, Gabriel?
This is something I can do. Any sort of pull mod because of the conversations and research I've done previously on the subject?
No, that's why it's not difficulty 9.
Okay. Difficulty 8.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
2 successes.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're familiar with you've got a basic working knowledge of the Book of Nod. An archaic book, a lot of the writings within attributed all the way back to the first city, to Cain and his offspring. Lots of traditional occultish sort of writings are contained within, and it's basically if Kindred had a Bible, it would be the Book of Nod.
I assume it's also
that goes-
magically powerful.
There are a number of paranormal powers associated with the Book of Nod, yes. And the idea of its existence being not only a catalog of the earliest histories of vampiric kind, but also a insight into the workings and the mindset of the antediluvians, if not Cain himself.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of mysticism around it. It is by far prized more by adherents to the Sabbat than by adherents to the Camarilla. Camarilla is a much more progressive, sort of less traditionalist movement for the most part. Like any collection of spiritual writings, there are a gamut of responses to it. Some people consider it simply poetic mumbo jumbo. Some people consider it almost, the
Scripture.
the voice of Metatron. Yeah, practically. So yeah, but it's very rare that even fragments of the Book of Nod are collected together in one place, and an entire volume of the complete works would be a significant prize indeed.
Yeah.
No matter what your personal perspective on the veracity of the writings contained within.
So yeah, my response to be then ancient writings from the hands of the followers of Cain. Supposedly powerful artifact, valuable, sought after by the Sabbat, at least currently. But if we did possess such an artifact, well, as I said previously, it would be well and jealously guarded, and no Sabbat raid would have made it past the door.
He nods, and then looks at Isla and Lysander. And you, what do you know of this book? Isla just shrugs, looking vaguely terrified.
Well, I do know that the book is interesting. It's a good read. A little terrifying when you jump into the details of it.
I slowly turn my head towards Lysander.
How much of the general demeanor of the conversation am I picking up?
If you can see me, you just saw my back stiffen.
Yeah. Body language, there's a level of tension to the discussion that's happening down by the waterfront.
All right, then at this point, Naomi's going to text the group chat, not including Crow, because I don't even think I have his number, the update about they had a spotter, seems like they've regrouped and are retreating potentially.
Okay.
All right. Lysander, are you attempting to project to publicly that you have had personal experience with the Book of Nod?
I mean, he did.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I guess,
All right.
yeah, I'm basically gonna just, I'm going to, I guess, basically, hold on, because I need to pull, well, no, I don't. I guess I'm going to just say to them, I've had some experiences with that terrifying book before. Back when I traveled to the Middle East, before I came to Seattle looking for the person I was after, I was taken in by a tribe of gypsies. They taught me a lot. Terrifying things. Especially about those damn antediluvians. Those shits are fucking terrifying, I tell you.
Well, we can agree on that at least.
But they did leave me a gift before I made my final travel back to the States. I no longer possess that gift. It kind of went up in smoke as of late. And I turned to Gabriel and give him the eye of yes. The apartment that went on fire also contained the Book of Nod that I owned, and I set it aflame. That's just the eye that I give him.
Yeah, that was just like all of that in a single glance.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is the thing thereafter no longer exists in the city.
Correct.
Crow just sort of covers his mouth with a hand.
Sorry.
Well, my Ravnos friend, you have either saved or doomed the Camarilla. Time only will tell.
Well, the Camarilla are strong. They have no fear against the Sabbat.
Yes, but we do have a problem now, you see. The Sabbat have learned that the book at least was within the bounds of the city. And given that the borders have been closed, it will be difficult to convince them that it is no longer here, but exists elsewhere. Or we can simply tell them that we have wantonly destroyed the Holy Grail and watch as the whole of Seattle burns to the ground around us.
I'm assuming it was a copy, not the real book, but...
Consider it as
It wasn't the
as
real
such,
thing,
my
it was a
friend.
copy. Very...
Gabriel gets a picture of Grumpy Cat in his text with a question mark next to it.
I pull out my phone and I text, "Get down here."
Do I still see the auras, or do they seem to have retreated?
The auras have definitely left the area.
Okay, great. Headed down.
I'll look over at Crow. If we could discover who this bard is that's giving, or find this bard, if it is Eyeless Sire, though there's questions to that. Oh, sorry, poet, not bard. If we could find this poet and remove him from the equation, or her, depending, or them, who am I to judge? We may be able to dissuade them from the fact that it exists still. If I can. Well, this is John getting tongue-tied, not Gabriel.
Tell me when Naomi gets there.
I have it on good authority that it is his word that they used to justify the raid on the Chantry.
Well, if we do indeed have a turncoat within the ranks of the Camarilla, that would be wise to attempt to expose him, or her, or them, as you say, as early as possible, yes. It also occurs to me that I seem to remember a tale of a chantry in Kansas City, I believe it was. Gabriel, as the only Tremere here, go ahead and make Intelligence, and I really wish there was a history skill. Politics.
Like academics might be a would be what I would consider to be the history.
Yeah, you could go intelligence academics, difficulty 7.
Intelligence academics, difficulty 7. 2 successes.
As soon as he says the chantry in Kansas City, yeah, you've heard that story before. There was a fragment of the Book of Nod kept within the walls of that chantry, and like you say, it was held under incredible security, and the existence of it was kept as secret as possible. The only fact that you've heard this story was because the Sabbat have kind of used it as a poster child for why you do not keep the Book of Nod from these people who care about it, because they burn that place to the ground.
Yeah.
And references differ as to whether they recovered the fragment or not. But regardless, they wreaked an unholy vengeance on that chantry and either destroyed or reclaimed it. But apparently either option was better in their mind than leaving it in the hands of the people who had it. So given that, your perception of the situation is, if the Sabbat believe that any aspect of the Camarilla in this city possesses a chunk, much less the whole thing, they're going to raise the city to the ground, more or less, in order to get at it.
Now that you mention Kansas City, this actually ties in with what we've been suspecting previously. All of the events that have been going on that you've been looking into for us and that we've been looking into as well are connected in some manner. And our only working motive behind any of the events is that somebody is trying to remove the current prince from power by making them look weak and incompetent. There are people committing multiple murders and intentionally staging the killings to look like a story time vampire killing. There are people luring werewolves into the city. There are now this open brazen attack on the chantry, and if it continues in the same direction, potentially a repeat of Kansas City.
Right about now is when Naomi walks up.
Okay.
Naomi
will plop herself down next to Isla on the ground, whether or not Isla is sitting.
All of this after...
Cross-legged.
All of this after the prince locked down the city. I would imagine that if things continue to escalate in the pattern they have been, our prince would be made to look quite weak indeed.
Exposition? Question mark.
I'll look over.
Naomi's asking for the background because she missed the big plot point.
I'll look over at Lysander and point at phone and then point at Naomi.
So Naomi is now looking up at Lysander with an expectant expression on her face.
What did you do to Lysander? I didn't hear that last part.
I looked over at you, pointed at my phone. So Naomi texted exposition, and I looked at you, pointed at the phone, then pointed at Naomi.
As in, fill her in on this whole Book of Nod thing.
I don't know Book of Nod. I know something happened because Gabriel's saying stuff to Crow.
Yeah.
Yep. But you missed most of the discussion previous to that.
Yep, and it was
Lysander's... what I
Lysander's...
thought was encapsulated in the fact that I sent Gabriel a grumpy cat.
And it was Lysander's book, so Lysander gets to explain to Naomi what happened.
So, here's the thing, Naomi. The Sabbat were after an artifact that I had that I recently disposed of, and I'm not sure if they find that out, then we might probably be in some serious shit. But yeah, they were after that copy of the
I'm a
book.
tactician. Tell me the details.
Okay, so back when I traveled to the Middle East to basically learn about more of my past, more of my clan, I was taken in by a group of gypsies that taught me everything.
Gabriel will cut in relevant details.
All right.
No, all details are relevant. Don't listen to Gabriel.
What happened in the Middle East is not relevant to current time.
Shut up, you idiot magic boy.
I'll just say, long story short, they gave me a copy of the book, and I had it when I was here in Seattle. When I moved in with you, I did set my other place ablaze, and inside it was the book that should be destroyed completely. I haven't checked in the apartment where I was before to see if any remnants have been recovered, or if everything was completely set ablaze. I made sure that it was a lot of fire that burned everything.
Okay, so here's a question for Jack. Does Clan Malkavian have any sort of stance on Book of Naughty stuff?
They have all the stances on Book of Naughty stuff.
Okay.
As opposed to
Yep.
Book of Nod, though.
Right. Yeah, no, literally, you will find Malkavians who have devoted their entire life to finding fragments, piecing them together, tattooing them to their bodies, etc. You will have other ones who could give a shit.
So we run the gambit. There's not
You run the
clan
full
insanity.
spectrum.
Okay.
Yep.
You run the full Monty.
Which is true for most issues in Malkavians, but
Yeah, it is. I
um
mean, like, sunlight is the one thing that they kind of have a unified stance on. But other than that, sunlight and fire, yeah.
And I will
sunlight, fire, and insanity being a good thing.
And I will
Right.
look over at Crow, and if the intent was to sow chaos and discredit the prince, then it's not even necessary that whoever informed them the Book of Nod was in the Tremeer's Chantry actually knows there was a copy in the city.
This is true. However, Rasputin and his kind, my kind, I suppose I should say, are usually very apt at sifting fact from fiction.
Do I recall the person in the vision that I had that spoke of the poet was a wolf head, right?
Let me reference real quick. Oh, that's Naomi's dream. Yes.
Yeah. So I will. Nosferatu may, yes, but Duke Angrel?
Less so.
The leader of the attack on the Chantry and the one who received the information from the poet was a gangrel. One I personally lit on fire, but...
Interesting. Well, that may put a slightly different guild on the lily, but,
Not that Rasputin wouldn't have followed up, but...
That is my position as well. Yes, easy enough, probably, to deceive one of the beast blood. But if Rasputin is working under orders, he would have... His superiors are intelligent enough to institute a vetting process, as the case may be.
So, as it stands, we need to find the poet.
That would be advisable. And forewarned is forearmed, but forearmed is definitely forearmed as well. You might need to look to that. He's kind of glancing across the four of you, and I think Lysander is the only one who's openly carrying any weapons.
No,
I think.
I sort of like shift my coat to the side so you can see my holstered pistol, but
Okay, right.
and
he looks at it and just kind of raises an eyebrow in that
I also
we're
set
vampires, dude.
I
kind
also
of.
set people on fire.
Yeah.
I'm just going to look at Crow.
One hand of cards your opponents will hopefully not possess as well.
I'm just going to look at Crow, and I'm going to say, forearmed is also forearmed, huh? I think I can take care of that.
You have an arms dealer.
Maybe. And I just give him a big old smile.
Can we get... I'll point at Naomi. Can we get Naomi a sniper rifle?
Naomi will bounce directly up and nod with her entire body twice.
I will look at Naomi and I'll just say, that's doable.
Because I'm pretty sure she doesn't need a scope.
Probably not. Also...
Scopes always help, though.
Yeah. Scope.
Naomi will say, scopes are useful because you need headshots.
True. Very true.
You know, for your acting gigs.
How do you think I get mine?
Exactly.
What? Nobody else showed up to the audition? I don't know why.
But yeah, I'll just look to the rest of the group and I'll say I'll get started on that aspect.
Naomi will text Gabriel, you're gonna have to teach me how to actually use a gun.
I know a firing range.
Oh, good. I can learn how to use guns too.
Yep.
That was to Gabriel, but
yeah.
All right then. Crow pulls out the envelope, looks at it, sticks it back in his pocket. Well, we have an appointment again tomorrow night. Same time, same place. So I will expect you all in attendance.
We'll be here.
And that will balance accounts very nicely, I believe. At least until you need another favor, Gabriel.
Of course. Is there anything that you want us to gather in the meantime, specifically for our chat tomorrow night?
We are going to attempt to keep things on an even keel tomorrow night.
Of course.
Preparation is wise, but I would not want to be the one to strike the first blow.
Fair enough. I'll just... If a blow needs to be struck, though, back away quickly.
Oh, I'm a good scrambler, my friend.
I don't want to catch him on fire with Rasputin. Because when Rasputin goes up, he's very greasy. It's going to be a fireball.
Guy's going to go up like a match.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll send a little somber scrambling, but it'll also send everybody else scrambling too.
So you guys have about 4 hours of darkness left.
Okay.
What? And Crow is headed off to whatever skulking haunt he's going to
head back to the
use
car
for the rest of the night.
We'll gather food. As we do so, Lysander, you should reach out to whomever your arms dealer is.
All right. Speaking of that, I'm going to need a list of all weapons, ammo, explosives you might want to be using in this situation. I'll try to get all that down.
If you get a sturdy blade, long sword, rapier, something along that line.
Naomi will text him, sniper rifle. And if you happen to be able to get either silver bullets or silver knives...
Silvered hollow point rounds.
that too.
I am currently working on trying to get some silver weaponry. silver shrapnel.
I can also make silver weapons. It's a slow process. So if someone's already manufactured them,
Okay.
Yeah, a sword of some kind.
Naomi's shockingly lucid right now.
Because we mentioned a sniper rifle.
Yeah, no, that's probably it.
Those things can be done. Also, I might try to see if I can get a little bit of extra help on my end with some more feet on the ground.
I look at
I have
the
a
time.
couple.
Remember, the city's closed.
That is true, but they are already here, and they're my boys.
I need to go to the chantry, so I've got some reading to acquire.
You do.
Don't.
Isla's going to follow you, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Should we head to the domain first to get some food, to get the whole food
I mean,
situation
we're right
sorted?
next to the domain, so you guys can walk there if you need to.
Yeah, you guys are about a 10-minute walk probably from, maybe
Alright.
a little longer than that. But you guys are pretty close. You're within like 10 blocks, yeah.
All
I'm
right.
not
good.
hungry enough to potentially go nuts when I eat. Good.
Let me see.
So I'm
also fine.
yeah, so I'll wave goodnight, and I'm going to head to the chantry with Isla in tow.
Okay.
I'll leave her in the car.
All
Why?
right.
Because not Tremere.
True.
Those are the rules?
It's
She's
my
asking-
man club. I don't want to take the girl.
Yes, those are the rules.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, I'll wait here.
That
Keep an
was that,
Keep an eye on your wheels for you.
leaving Isla in the car. The statement "leaving Isla in the car" was not in character, by the way.
No, but that's something that's going to... The discussion would happen when
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
arrive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely what happened.
Yeah, they would be like, "Stay in the car." Why? Because you're not a member of the clan Tremere.
Yeah.
But I like books.
Yes, that's exactly why. If you're not a member of the clan Tremere, you're not allowed inside.
Yeah. I'm going to look at Naomi and I'm just going to be like,
And I'll go ahead and throw in. Also, because if you're not a Tremere and you try to pull one of our books off the shelves, it bursts into flames, taking you with it.
it's interesting. I like it. But yeah, I'm going to look at Naomi and I'm just going to say, if you need me, I'll probably be at the domain. I do need to make some phone calls. And I'll just start heading
Oh,
back
and
up.
Lysander?
Hmm?
If you even think about blowing up somewhere that happens to be my home with your stupid fire, we're going to find out why Malkavians have quite a bit of respect among the Camarilla.
I'll just look at her, give her a slight grin and nod and walk away.
Is that? I'm scared.
I mean, well, for Lysander's case, he's not really that, I don't know.
Lysander's not smart enough to realize what Malkavians are.
Damn, Malkavians, y'all scary.
Alright, yeah, and I'm just going to head towards the Statue of Lenin. And on
Okay.
my way there, I'm going to call up Featherstone.
Roll me just a single D10.
Alright.
10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
What's that? You're going to change that. It's 8.
8.
8?
Close
Okay.
enough.
Yeah. No, he'll answer on the second ring.
Okay. Featherstone.
What you need, boy?
Weapons.
Oh, you are singing my song, sir.
We're
right.
planning a bit of something a little full scale. I think it'll be better actually if we meet up. Any place
Gonna
in
have a-
particular you want?
Gonna have a little bit of a dust up, are we? Okay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's good for business. I can appreciate that. Tell you what, I am out and about right now. Can you meet me, Wallingford and 40th?
Consider it done.
Excellent. I will see you there in 20 minutes.
Roger that.
Lysander then gets a text afterwards. Oh, and a shotgun.
Yeah, I'm just going to look at the text and I'm just going to say back, done. And I'm going to take public transit to get to the location.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
Just because the image of the pulling the shotgun out from underneath the coat just looks like it's just
Yeah,
really
that's
a nice mental image.
it's always the way.
All right. So you have an appointment with Featherstone. Gabriel, you're headed to the Chantry. Naomi, where are you headed?
I am headed to the domain because I need food.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. Let's cover that first then.
I actually don't need all that much food.
Since you're the
Interestingly enough, I've been in the most combats out of the group, and I've suffered the least amount of injuries.
That's what
Lucky
happens when you
you.
can light things on fire from a distance.
It's true. It's true.
And you're not the one fighting a stupid werewolf.
I mean, that's also true, but still, it's
Also
just,
true.
Or a gangrel.
I just thought that was funny.
Yep. So Naomi, as you get back to the domain, are you going to be hunting within the established boundaries, or are you joining Team Extend South and pushing towards the waterfront a little more?
I'm not pushing the boundaries while I'm hunting right now.
Okay, sounds good.
I am.
So, where are you going, and what are you looking for?
I am. There's a few clubs, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go to one of the clubs
Okay.
and do the cute girl thing and hope someone wants to bring me out back.
Okay. All right. So you head up to the back door, which is one of the sort of speakeasy lounge type areas towards the eastern boundaries of your guys' domain. And you walk inside, sit down, and a server comes up and asks what they can get for you.
I'll order a drink that I probably won't actually drink because vampire, but I will order something that is within my price range.
Okay. Sounds good. So he will bring you a drink and you will sit and people watch for a moment. Give me an appearance and subterfuge roll, difficulty 7.
Aw, not an appearance and etiquette? Okay.
Because you're trying to pass yourself off as something that you are not.
Interested in going out back?
Are you saying Naomi isn't a cute girl, Jack? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that she is trying to present herself off as more of a prey stance when she is in fact a predator.
Oh, not everyone wants to take a prey. Some people like being domed by little tiny ones.
I mean, it's just like,
But yeah,
it's
that's
like
fine.
Just act like you've got a strap on in the trunk. It's just
Okay,
I'm sure there's someone there
difficulty
who wants to
7
attack.
appearance and
it's Seattle.
1 success.
All right. So yeah, after about 5 minutes, a rather butch-looking girl comes up and starts to make conversation with you.
Cool. Naomi will be writing.
Oh, okay, right.
But,
Yeah,
but,
no,
like, she'll be flirty about it.
okay.
Flirty
Sounds good
writing.
then. Flirty writing. Let's see. What would a good role for flirty writing be?
Charisma crafts.
Unless the butch girl spontaneously starts talking sign language, in which case.
Well, there's always a chance. Let's see what happens. pull my dice app. Oh, wait, no, I've got regular dice over here. Ha! Oh, well, there's 2 successes. Yes, this girl actually speaks sign language.
Oh. Well, then Naomi will in sign language with her.
Right. So, yeah, there's a quick discussion back and forth a little bit of witty repartee. And give me a wits and subterfuge difficulty 6.
Witty repartee with sign language.
Yep.
Trust me, it's no different from Rudy repartee.
No, I know. I'm just picturing like I'm picturing particular accents on the signs.
I mean, that always happens a bit. In my experience, it usually involves puns.
Yes.
1 success.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, she'll laugh as you guys are talking and interfacing, and seems to be enjoying herself quite a bit. Goes on for probably about 20-30 minutes of conversation. You guys are she's not into the artistic scene, but she's got a working knowledge of some basic art like tendencies. So Naomi picks that up and definitely drives the discussion in a way that makes Naomi look intelligent without making the other girl look dumb.
Yeah.
So yeah, it works out. It works out pretty well. Are you going to wait for her to make the move, or are you going to make the move?
Oh. I'll indicate interest, but I'm not going for forceful.
Okay. Give me a charisma and empathy difficulty 5.
2 successes.
All right.
And occurs to me I probably should have an empathy focus, but I forgot to add one, so
Okay.
not relevant.
Well, you can do that at a later date then.
Yep.
So yeah, after a little bit of brief signaling, the girl who's seems to be fairly local indicates that she's parked out back and would love to take this to a alternate location.
Yeah.
So she will guide you out to a rather poorly lit parking lot.
That's fine. I'm pumping a point of blood into strength, by the way.
If you're going for hunting, dexterity would actually be better.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's
Then I'm
fine.
pumping a point of blood into my dexterity.
Yep, yeah. It's generally always I was reading over the rules and I've been dice pooling some things. Generally, it's dexterity to actually get somebody, and strength is more just how much damage you deal, which when you're feeding is sort of automatic anyway. Cool. So, are you just going to wait till you've got some cover from the other vehicles, or?
Yes, but I'm trying
how
to
do you
maintain.
want to do this, in a sense?
I'm primarily trying to maintain my persona, my act.
Right. Definitely. All right. In that case, then, since the act is coming into play here, give me a charisma. No, a manipulation and empathy roll. Difficulty 6. Domain dice apply.
Cool. I need to go back and add those. 4 successes.
All right. So yeah, she'll hook arms with you and do the whole thing. You definitely know that you've got this girl eating out of your hand, and she does not suspect you to be anything other than what you appear to be.
Kiss her neck with a little bit of nom.
Okay.
Kiss neck with fangs.
Dexterity and brawl, difficulty 6. And with the 4 successes on the empathy roll, you can add 3 to your pool.
Cool.
Does she get the domain pool mod as well?
Oh,
Yes,
do I?
you would.
So you get
Yeah,
to
you
add
get that as
6
well.
to your pool.
So you get to add 6 dice, which
So-
either means it's going to be a stunning success or a hell of a botch.
Yeah. 7 successes. I did not botch that, though I was.
All right.
And also,
So-
if this is precise, I get 9 successes.
Okay, we are going to say that it is precise. Basically, you wait right until you get to the car, and you go up for a little bit of a kiss and sink your teeth in at the perfect angle to where from any passersby that might happen to catch a glance at you, it's literally just going to look like 2 girls necking.
Yep. Great.
Okay, so she goes limp, and you get just this gout of blood that coats the entire interior of your mouth. And there's this harsh, almost caustic aftertaste to it. Feels vaguely terror-stricken, but swiftly receding to apathy. How many blood points are you taking from this person?
I'm taking 3 first round.
Okay, first round 3, and yep, nobody seems to notice. She's limp, and that first rush of fear that had come with the blood has dissipated now, and there's just this. It's quiet. It is one of the most quiet feedings you have ever experienced in your life.
Well, I'm going to. Typically, 6 is a safe amount to take, I believe.
6 is usually your safe max. Yep.
I'm going to take the 3 more, and then that's it.
Okay. So once again, you just spend a few seconds swallowing this torrent of crimson liquid that's flowing down your throat, and then you pull back, lick the wound closed, and she's surprisingly conscious. She's wobbly on her knees. Her eyes are definitely out of focus. She definitely does not appear to be fully aware of what's just happened. But she's stable. Like, I mean, if you just step back, you're pretty sure she would stay standing.
Can I kiss her one more time?
Yeah.
Like, continue the act for a little bit. And while I'm doing that, aura perceptor, because I forgot to do that before we went this far.
All right. Give me the perception and empathy then. Difficulty 8 reduced as needed. No domain dice for this one, though.
Yeah. It's a... 5 successes.
Okay. Yeah, she's got a faint sort of there's a level of, it's just a palest orange to her aura. It's bright enough. She's definitely
pale, not like a vampire.
Right. Yeah. No. Right. Yeah. But there's this hint of fear. There's a little bit of those whites and blues, honestly, that are flitting around the outside, and brief tinge of red cutting through, but a deeper red, not a brighter red.
Okay.
But yeah, and she's sort of she's definitely reaching behind her to steady herself on the car.
If she cuts off, Naomi will go with that. If she doesn't cut off, Naomi will go with that.
Right. Yeah. Well, and she'll sort of blink and shake her head a little bit, and then she'll smile at you and open the door for you.
Yeah.
It might not be healthy for her to drive.
Naomi is gonna get her and sign. You seem a little dizzy. You doing okay? How much have you had?
She'll sign back. I get lightheaded sometimes, but I've only had 2. And you saw, give me a retroactive perception and alertness, difficulty 6.
Yeah. I have eidetic memory, if that helps.
Yeah. It's more whether or not you would have
5
thought to look.
successes.
Okay, yeah, no. And yeah, she was drinking light beer, I mean, so
Yeah.
it was nothing, she
Medicine
hasn't been...
check for if I put her to the point where driving would be a bad idea.
Okay. Intelligence and medicine, difficulty 6 then.
Three successes.
Okay. Yeah, she's a little shaky, but not worryingly so.
Okay.
Yeah. You think she's probably capable of driving, and as long as you're alert and in the passenger
Yep.
seat and keeping an eye on her, she'll probably be fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always alert for everything. Always.
Right.
So, Naomi will get in.
Okay. And she'll drive somewhere up north to wherever she lives. Probably like Finney Ridge or Whittier Heights, somewhere in there. And yeah, we'll happily entertain as long as the situation calls for it. Shifting to the Chantry then. So Gabriel, you pull up, and there's 3 or 4 vehicles outside the Chantry right now, more than usual.
Mm-hmm.
You see a number of individuals walking around the grounds. Seems like there's some sort of social engagement happening here tonight.
Check my phone, see if I got emails or voicemails or anything.
Nothing that you haven't
Oh.
seen already.
Oh. Doesn't involve me, likely. Unless it does, in which case I'll be told. So, yeah, turn off the car, look over to stay here. It won't take me too long to find what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Just call me if something comes up, and I'll
Always.
head up the steps into the Chantry.
Okay. One of the house staff greets you, a ghoul whose name you have never bothered to learn, but that you have seen around from time to time.
Yep.
Master Edelmar, welcome this evening. Are you here to attend the Primogen?
No.
Oh, well then. Bernard is, of course, occupied with the event, but if you require any assistance...
No, just point me to the nearest ritual library.
Rituals, yes, absolutely. This way, and he will guide you down a few passages of halls. You notice he's a little less comfortable navigating the interior than Bernard is. Bernard glides through like he owns the place every single time.
This guy's fairly new.
This guy, well, he's not new, he's just not quite as familiar.
Yeah.
I mean, he's new in the sense that he's only been here about 20 years.
Yeah.
Right.
As opposed to Bernard, who's been here a couple hundred.
Right. Bernard, who's been here at least a century. Yeah. But yeah, so like at occasional branches or crossroads in the corridors, he'll pause for a moment, kind of give a glance, and then make his choice rather than just walking through like it's not there. But yeah, he'll guide you to a small study, and there's low lighting and a few desk lamps and innumerable books.
I am looking for 2 rituals in specific.
Okay.
And because the way rituals work, unlike disciplines, you learn rituals by actually finding them, reading them, and studying them.
Yes.
So what I'm looking for is a 2nd level ritual, which is the Burning Blade ritual. I don't remember the exact name, but it's a thing that you use it and you turn a melee and you basically light a melee weapon on fire. And it's similar to the Lure of Flames, where so long as it's on fire, you're not affected. So long as you maintain it, you're not affected by it, but other vampires are.
Yeah, Burning Blade.
Yeah, Burning Blade, level 2 ritual.
Okay.
I am also looking for Flesh of Fiery Touch, which is a level 3 ritual.
Okay. For Burning Blade, give me an Intelligence and Occult difficulty 7.
Intelligence and Occult. One success, although 2 of them are 10s, if that matters.
Right. So yeah, you are able to find the Burning Blade incantation. It details the need for cutting the palm and the expenditure of the blood to infuse the weapon with the power inherent to the vitae, allowing the weapon to inflict aggravated damage. For the third level ritual, Intelligence and Occult difficulty 9. Those are a lot harder to find.
0 successes, but not a failure. Not a botch. Sorry.
Not a botch. Right. Yep. Yeah. You're not finding any references to Flesh of Fiery Touch. Whether that's because the volume is not, or the necessary information is not held by this chantry, or simply whether one of the books may have gotten moved, refiled, or alternate. But you're not finding it tonight.
Okay.
They're on the slightly higher shelf, so that the children can't reach them.
It's been moved around, and so it's
And then give me an Intelligence and Academics difficulty 6.
Why is academics not with the other A skills?
Because it's not a physical skill.
Yeah. 1 success.
Okay. So yeah, but looking at the text for the Burning Blade ritual, you're able to commit the necessary aspects of the process to memory, and you now have access to utilize that from this point henceforth.
I'm also just gonna, out of curiosity, I'm gonna look and see if the level 1 ritual Domino of Life is there, as I imagine it will be helpful in the future.
Okay. Intelligence and Occult difficulty 6.
4 successes.
That one is right on hand. I mean, there's practically a Cliff Notes Vampire Rituals book, and it's front page.
Yep.
Yeah, you find that one.
This seems like a good one to know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then I'd like to commit it to memory as well.
All right. That one's simple enough. You won't even probably need to roll for that. So yeah, you can have access to that one also.
And just while I'm here, Blood Rush. Because that's one that every vampire that uses a lot of blood should know. Because it prevents you from frenzying.
Frequently, yes. But there is a talisman you will have to acquire in order to utilize that one. Yep. But yes, Intelligence and Occult. You've already learned one level 1 ritual, so that'll bump up the difficulty by 1. Difficulty 7.
All right. 0 successes, but not a botch.
Okay, so yeah, you're not able to find Blood Rush.
All right. I'll come back for it later. All right, so I've acquired. Let me note down that I've acquired these things real quick.
Yes.
Burning Blade and Domino of Life.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So.
Yep, and Domino of Life, you will have to have a vial of fresh human blood on you, and it will have to be human blood. It can't be ghoul blood. Yeah.
But it doesn't have to. Fresh, but could be preserved.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Generally, blood can be preserved in what would be considered a fresh state, I believe, for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
given adequate refrigeration and that sort of thing.
Once we get the mansion, I'll work on getting a blood bank deposit.
Hey yo.
Yeah, so acquired information. Burning Blade was the relevant one. The others were just, potential perks. So
Yep.
all right, I'll put my study material away.
Okay. And where are you headed?
At this point, I'm gonna be heading back out. Because I imagine it's about. I probably, you said it was 4 hours. I've probably lost about an hour, hour and a half.
You probably used about 2 hours now
2
with
hours.
the drive, the research,
Yeah.
looking for the other ones. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna start heading back towards the warehouse because I think both Isla and I are pretty full on blood right now. So
I think so. Yep. All right. So you're headed to the warehouse
I'm
and
above 10. So
Right. And Lysander.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you're headed on public transit to meet with Featherstone. There is a dry cleaners, basically. They're at the corner. And as you jump off at the bus stop, you can see a familiar vehicle parked in this closed for the day dry cleaners parking lot there, and a rather disreputable looking gentleman leaning up against it, smoking a cigarette.
All
Give
right.
me a perception and alertness difficulty 7, however.
Okay. Difficult 7. One success if eyes on the back of my head are counted for this.
Okay. Not really eyes on the back of your head.
Okay.
Yeah. So as you walk up, he looks at you, flicks the cigarette across the parking lot. All right, boy. Let's see what we got. He's wearing a different face, but by the voice and the posture, this is Featherstone.
Okay. Before I talk to him, I'm gonna pull out my box of Marlboros and I'm gonna pull out a cigarette and I'm going to light it.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna walk to him and say, "Good to see you again, old friend."
Likewise, I hear you're bringing me some money tonight, eh?
Mm-hmm. I have a couple of weapons that I'm going to be needing, so.
Okay. Well, let's have a gander and see what I've got in the back then. And he opens up the back. He's driving basically a panel van.
Okay.
And he'll pull open the doors, which are definitely not pointed towards the street. Yeah, and you can see, based on where he's positioned, there are almost no cameras around this exterior, and it's a good thing because the thing is just chock full of guns and shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Am I getting a present?
Okay, so I'm basically going to tell him, I need something for long range. Sniper.
All
Scope,
right.
if you have one.
Yeah, let me see what I can do for you then. We got a few options. Take a look here. So yeah, he will have a rifle. It's scoped. Look, it's not like a 50 cal.
Okay.
Or anything like that. It's not military grade, but it'll definitely carry a couple hundred yards.
Okay.
And looks to be a 30-06 chamber,
Okay.
bolt action. Your standard, what most civilians would probably use for a deer or a large game.
Okay. Yeah.
But it'll definitely ruin somebody's day. Yeah.
Okay. And does this one come with a scope attached, or?
Yes, it will have a scope attached to it.
Okay.
Fairly basic, like a 210 optical.
Okay.
It's not going to be like it's not going to be like a military grade or dark thermal or anything like that, but it'll do its job.
Yeah, that's fine as long as I can shoot
Uh-huh.
and blow somebody's head off.
Yep. What else you need? Small arms, auto, semi-auto. What are we looking at?
I'm in the market for a shotgun,
Okay.
double action, pump, sawed off preferably.
Short profile. You want standard or pistol grip?
Pistol grip.
Okay, I got some shit here. Got a modified Remington 870. That might work for you. He'll lay that one out. Got a couple others. Beretta, if you like the Italians. Yeah, well, we can get you set up. How many of those you need?
I'll stick to 2 for now.
Okie dokie. 1 and 1. And all right, so that's 3 on the ticket so far. You need anything else? Something smaller, a little more concealable?
Yes. 2 Glocks.
Right. Okay. You talking pistol or SMG?
Pistol.
Okay.
Those are going to be from me.
Sounds good. 9mm, decent chamber, or you want something with a little more kick?
I'll stick to 9mm for now.
All right. Pair of lights. We will pull those aside for you. And anything else for you?
As opposed to melee weapons, rapiers.
Rapiers.
Yeah. Or just regular swords in that kind of vicinity.
Something on a long blade? Okay. Let me see. He does not have anything on that.
Okay.
Closest thing he's got is a kind of like a combat machete almost.
Okay. How many of those combat machetes do you have?
He's just got one of those. He's like, this is kind of niche stuff. Like hardly anybody around here uses these.
I'll give a slight chuckle and I'll just be like, I guess I'm gonna be taking that one for myself then.
All right. Yeah, it's got about an 18-inch blade on it. And if you're looking to take somebody off at the neck, it would be highly effective. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking that one.
Okay. All right then.
All right. And I feel like that would be about it, unless you have any Kevlar you're willing to spare.
Armor's in a different vehicle. I could get you armor tomorrow night if you want.
That's totally fine.
All right. So Lysander's going to need to make a resources roll now.
Okay.
This is a individual that you've already worked for and with in the past, so it's going to be a resources roll, difficulty 5.
Okay. So let's see. It's 1. Full mod is 4. No, not 40. 4. And then you said the difficulty was 5?
5, yes.
Okay. 2 successes.
All right, yeah, you've got just enough cash liquidated to cover that ensemble.
Beautiful.
All right, well, pleasure doing business. You sure you don't need anything with a little more boom to it? Because I can get you that tomorrow night, too.
I'll come back to you tomorrow for that. Just bring whatever you have, and I'll see if I see anything I like.
Repeat customers are the best customers, my friend.
How are you getting all that home?
Yeah, that's true. No, as opposed to getting it from point A to point B, which would be your hands to my domain and the...
Oh, you need me to drop off? Are you foot traffic tonight?
Yes, I am.
Give me an address, sir.
All right, and I am going to give him the address, and I'm going to say, if I check on the maps, is there like any back alleys or anything with like doors in the back to that apartment that I can like?
You guys have a sort of the apartment building is built on top of the parking area, which is off the street, gated underneath.
Okay.
So as long as nobody else is in the parking garage at 2:30 in the morning, you can probably get everything wrapped up and moved. He's got boxes and crates that he can put stuff in so that it doesn't automatically scream small arms.
Okay, I'm just going to say, we have a parking lot. If you got any Amazon boxes, bring them in those.
I got a Rubbermaid.
Something a little bit more discreet would do. Something cardboard.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that too.
All right.
Sounds good. I will meet you there.
Okay then. And I'm going to head to the domain because I need to get
Okay.
something.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, like, he'll just say, you want to just hop in front, actually.
You know what? That'll be a good idea.
All right.
I mean, there's a van right here.
Yep. So,
I am surprised that there aren't more vampires wielding katanas in Seattle. Come on. That is like just the that I feel like is the prime postmodern vampire. Like
it
urge.
was in the late 90s.
Yeah.
That's a little gauche at this point.
And then I'm just going to, after I finish my cigarette, I'm going to go in, and then I'm going to text the rest of the group. I'm going to be like, I got the stuff, bring it to the domain. A meeting is intact for distribution.
I mean,
Right.
I've got a sword cane, and it counts as a sword, so it's not that big a deal. But
Now, Naomi, are you spending the night with your friend from the bar?
No.
Okay.
yeah, it wouldn't be
That
good
would
for her
be
to
a
wake
bad
up in the
idea.
morning and
Right.
find you
All right.
dead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So so you spend a very pleasant hour and a half with the individual in question, and then you will make your excuses and depart. Are you headed? Would you be then headed back to your apartment? I assume.
Yes, unless there isn't time for that.
No, there'd be time for that.
Yeah, headed back to my apartment.
You can predict the occasion to where there will be plenty of time for that. Lysander, Featherstone will help you unload when you get to the apartment. He'll knock together a couple of cardboard boxes, throw some newspaper in the bottom for padding. Guns are in socks, and yeah, 2 trips up the stairs, and you guys have everything stashed in the apartment.
Okay, can I just make sure that I make like a roll or something just in case there was anybody in the...
Yes, give me a dexterity and stealth. Difficulty 6. Domain dice will apply.
Yay. No.
Did you get ammo with the guns, by the way?
Yes, that would have been included.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, because that would have been really embarrassing to, like,
We
hey, I
have
got
a
all the
huge
guns.
number of guns.
Did you
no
ask
bullets.
it all about silver ammo? Probably not.
No, I haven't because I've talked to him about silver before, and he's currently working on that situation. What's the difficulty?
6.
Silver ammo, more rare than you would think.
Yeah.
Why?
And does
Werewolves are scary.
5 successes.
5 successes. All right, yeah, no,
Scary,
you guys
but rare.
You guys ghost up those stairs, and the way that Featherstone moves, you're like, yeah, this is not the first time this guy has had to move weapons into a public place and carry it off like it's nothing.
Okay.
This is
We moved
something
in
that
a
he
few days
definitely...
ago, or a few days, maybe a week at most ago. Having another box coming in isn't going to raise too many eyebrows.
Yeah, no, you guys managed to get everything upstairs and stashed with a minimum, if any, observation whatsoever.
So I'm definitely, I'm definitely, when we get the mansion built, making sure that all the weapons and armor that's like on display throughout the mansion are real, just in case.
Yes. Always got to be prepared.
Well, weapons make sense. Armor... If it's not like, oh, we're being home invaded,
no,
quick, let me take half an hour and put on this plate mail.
not for me to wear, because I can animate that shit.
Oh, okay. Now that makes sense.
And I can make it look scarier.
This place up.
I can
I can make it
animate
look-
that armor.
I can make it look
in,
scarier.
in one more point of elemental mastery.
Yeah. One more point of chai mastery, I can make it look scarier.
All right, and we will take a break there real quick. Coming
right.
back to Gabriel's return to the workshop.
All right, so stretch your legs, use the bathroom, get a drink, get some food, do whatever. We'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. And we're back.
All right. So, as dawn begins to encroach on Seattle, you guys have about an hour and a half left, tops. And Gabriel and Isla have just pulled up outside the workshop.
Is there any spray paint on the door?
There is nothing on the door.
Okay.
Serenity's car is there. And there's another car as well.
Is it a car I recognize?
No, it is not.
Right.
It is a blue Mustang, navy blue, with a single white racing stripe on the driver's side,
Okay.
over the hood, and then over the top. And there seems to be a single individual seated inside.
All right, recognize the individual.
Windows are tinted. You can just see a silhouette.
Well, I pull around back.
Yep.
And car.
Yeah, so as you guys exit, you hear the door of the Mustang open. And standing before you is Simon DaCosta.
Hello, Simon.
Everything's cleaned up.
Good to hear. I'll go tell Serenity that you're here.
Thank you.
And I will go upstairs.
For the first time, you see that doesn't seem to be wearing body armor.
He'll need it. So, that's his mistake.
All right. So you guys go inside.
Yep, and I'll go wake Serenity up.
She's actually already in a bathrobe, having arisen reasonably early for her, but not uncharacteristically per se. Seems to have just gotten out of the shower. Oh, you're back.
Yep. You have a quarter outside.
I've got a quarter outside. What?
Quarter. Courter.
There's a guy outside.
I forgot about that.
And Gabriel has just like
And you see her like just rolling through her mental Rolodex.
and Gabriel
coming
just
up
has
and
a
coming
smirk.
up blank.
Gabriel just has a smirk.
Who the fuck? There's nobody.
He's the ghoul of Jimmy Ulster.
Have I met him?
Yes, once in passing.
Okay.
He wants to arm wrestle you.
Please tell me that's not a euphemism for something.
No, it's not.
Okay.
I told him that
Wait, what?
he asked for a date, and I told him that your only priority was someone who could beat you in an arm wrestling contest.
Yeah, that is pretty much how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, sure. Let me throw on something. God. And yeah, she'll take 10 minutes, throw herself on an outfit, which by her standards is probably low rent, but she carries it off extremely well, given who she is.
And the appearance specialization unforgettable.
Yep. Mhm. Yeah, no. Which is, as you're kind of rolling back in it, yeah, no, she's unforgettable. So
Yeah.
Simon only needed to pass her once, and he has not forgotten about her.
Pretty much.
And she'll walk downstairs.
I'll call down. Have fun
Where is he?
outside. Blue
Oh,
Mustang.
God. You did? Really?
Yes.
Well,
He
some taste at least.
he does well. Please don't break him. Jimmy needs him later.
Okay. All right. And you hear the bell on the door go.
And I'm gonna go pass out.
All right. So are you casting your ritual first, I assume, right?
Yep, ritual first.
Okay. All right. And as you're finishing it up, there is a call from downstairs. Can you come officiate?
Yeah, I'll come down.
She has set up a card table.
Yep.
And there's a folding chair. So, you have access to her character sheet, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So you will. We'll just make it simple. Strength and athletics.
All right.
And I have no idea
Pulls out the entire other book where the grappling and arm wrestling rules are.
So it's going to be strength and athletics. However many dots in potence she has, she can add those to her dice pool.
Yep.
Difficulty 6. He will roll the same thing.
She has 3 successes.
3 successes.
4
All right.
because I believe powerful arms counts.
Yes, it would.
Because
Yeah,
her,
'cause that's
her
her-
strength
that's her specialty,
specialization,
right?
her strength specialization is powerful arms.
Yep. Okay, and he's going to have. All right. Whoops, that's not a pool mod. 3 is a pool mod. Difficulty 6, and he has 7 successes.
Hey.
So you watch as she throws her body weight against it, and his arm doesn't move. And then, ever so slowly, he loosens the grip of his hand and just puts his thumb on her open palm and just pushes it down. She fights him the entire way down, and he does have to extend effort to get that arm down, but he does it with his thumb just for attempted style points, apparently. And she feels her hand the back of her hand hit the tabletop. She doesn't break eye contact with him at any point during the entire process. She relaxes her arm. She stands up, brushes herself off. She looks at him and she says, "You're paying for all the drinks. We're taking your car, and I will kiss you once, and I guarantee nothing else." He considers, nods, and says, "I'll see you at 6." And turns and leaves.
I applaud.
Good for the ghouls to have healthy relationships with people other than
Oh,
their manipulative.
Yeah. Like, I applaud.
Fuck, dude. That's crazy.
Healthy relationships.
Hey.
And Serenity
Poured out.
sighs, looks at Gabriel. Well, he's not the ugliest guy I've ever gone out with.
No.
Have a good day.
You too. I'm gonna go.
And you guys are going to crash.
Yeah.
All right. Naomi, you make it back to the apartment in plenty of time before sunrise. Lysander's already there with weapons laid out, I assume.
Just the rifle.
Just the rifle. Okay.
Just the rifle.
Everything else is stashed, but there's a rifle sitting out on whatever table you guys may have in the common area.
I'm
Take
putting
a look
it.
at it. I don't have any firearms training, but I have a lot of tech and mechanics and how things fit together training. Figure it out.
Figure out how the gun works, or how.
How the gun works, I assume it's safety off, fire.
Yeah,
No.
it's basically There's a toggle
Also-
safety, and it's a bolt action, which is one of the simplest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also, just like, does it compartmentalize? Can I disassemble and reassemble it? sort of-
Give me an intelligence and crafts.
Yes.
Difficulty
Okay.
6.
I'm gonna go play with the cat.
All right.
2 successes, 3
Okay.
assistance mechanics.
Yeah, it would be considered mechanical, I suppose, in nature, probably. Yeah, moving pieces. So yeah, you pull up a quick YouTube video just to be sure, and you start taking it apart and putting it back together. There are a few cautionary aspects of, obviously, the more you assemble and disassemble a rifle, generally you have to sight it in each time,
Yeah.
and make sure that stuff is on target. It doesn't just stay that way. So yeah, you're probably going to want to do a little bit of firearms research, but you're at least perfectly comfortable with the theory of how this thing functions.
Naomi really just wanted to feel it in her hands and get a tactile understanding of this comes apart in this way
Right.
So she can think about concealing it if she needs to.
Mhm. Yeah, no, but it's pretty simple. You pull the bolt out of the action. There's a small lever to release the catch there. You've got a couple screws that attach the barrel to the stock, which comes apart in two pieces, and then of course the scope is on a barrel top rail, and so yeah, it breaks down more or less into 5 or 6 decent sized chunks for transit. I mean, you can, if she gets interested, she can disassemble the entire action and firing.
She's not doing that right now,
but yeah,
once we're done actually using it, she's probably going to.
Naomi takes a specialization in gunsmithing.
Yeah. No, she likes this.
All right.
And then she's spent time doing research. It's not the first time she's been handed a piece of mechanic-y, techy stuff and had to go, internet, tell me how this works.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, no, you can get the basics of, sort of the theory and engineering in firearms without too much trouble at all. And yeah, things seems to be pretty functional and definitely will pack a punch for anything that you can hit with.
Okay. Lysander is going to be checking his phone after he's done bonding with Casper. He's going to check his phone to see if anything from the Court of Lavender has gone to his phone, or if he's received any calls that he can call back from anybody.
So as far as that goes, you have received one message referencing the possibility of having some people to sort of serve as a little bit of an attaché on the ground in Seattle. I'm trying to remember which one. Gizmo has put you in touch with, I believe Palucho would be the guy who sort of is your guy's networker, right?
The networker would actually. Well, Palucho was the herder. He's the guy who would get all the people.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, Gizmo let Palucho know, and Palucho then responded to you with a phone number that you recognize as a local area code.
Okay.
Says this is a group of 3 guys. They do decent work, as long as there's decent money involved, and they're usually open for business.
Okay. I'm going to.
They come with decent credentials as far as, leg breakers and enforcers go.
Yeah, I was going to text it back. I was going to say, how loyal are they to our organization? Because at this point they refer to the Purple Snakes as more of an organization, kind of like a crime syndicate,
right,
or just a syndicate in general.
Yeah. As far as that goes, they are freelance, but they have an excellent reputation for never breaking a contract once they've accepted it.
Okay.
And yeah, they have definitely he's been in direct contact with them over the phone. They know who the Purple Snakes are. They recognize the organization, and they'd be willing to take service.
The Purple Snakes are.
Hells no.
They know that they're a crime syndicate. They don't know the other thing.
They don't know that they're all kindred.
Yeah.
I'd say, because it might be weird to have gangers, backing us up, and then me light somebody on fire. Just throwing that out there.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely tomorrow going to attempt to schedule a meeting with them and Gabriel, if he so chooses to meet up with them, just to have them as kind of like backup for any shit that might go down.
Okay. Sounds good. Yes, and they have rather fancifully named themselves the Knuckle Draggers.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
They're changelings. Okay.
Yeah, they're definitely changelings.
No, they are not.
They're ogres. Yeah.
Are you sure you don't want to bring the person with all of the dots and the aspects and the empathy along?
Of course I am. But I just wanted to make sure I had Gabriel there because he's the one. He's basically the whole. I don't know, the leader of the operation. So kind of.
Naomi will laugh at you
somewhat
for
the big
several minutes
enchilada.
if you ever say that in front of her.
No, I'll never. I'm not going to say that. I'm just thinking that in my head, very reluctantly and very agitated when I think about it. But he's the one who basically, I don't know, keeps us kind of alive. Anyway, I'm going to also see if
Gabriel's the big stick.
Yeah, basically. I'm also going to see his response on the request for a group meeting with the Court of Lavender.
Yes, he's reached out to everybody except he still is waiting to hear back from Atlas.
Okay, that's what I was saying.
Right, but he's put out basically 2 days from now. He wants everybody on the phones.
All right. Okay.
And you've gotten confirmation from everybody except Atlas on that one.
Okay. And have I gotten anything else from Reinhardt discussing about obtaining a vehicle? Okay.
As far as that goes, he's released. He's got. He's liquidated as much of your cash as he can.
Okay.
At this point.
Okay.
And his response to the vehicle request was, "Are you looking for something legitimate, or do you want something cheap?"
I guess something that can. I'm just looking for something that can drive fast and can get me from point A to point point B without exploding.
Really,
Okay.
I don't know if that showed up. If all the visuals on screen just messed up. For some reason, my Java asked me if I wanted to update, and if that happened on the recording, I'm sorry. out of nowhere, my screen went away, and I just got a pop-up that said,
So that
"Do you
just
want to update
happened
your
on
Java?"
stream, and I think it was fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no, everything is fine on the stream.
Okay, just
Yeah,
wanted to make
that's
sure.
Yep.
But yeah,
I think we're good.
So I guess basically I'm gonna be looking for like I guess you can say let's go with 1990 Dodge Charger probably because Chargers are all the rage.
I have a charger. I'm I'm the only one that has a charger.
I was gonna say yes. No.
All right.
That's
So yeah.
yeah.
Or if a purple Ford Shelby GT or GT Shelby if that's a possibility.
That's a newer
Purple
one.
Shelby Cobra. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are parking an illegal car in our apartment slot.
Oh no, a Shelby's not illegal.
No, Shelby's not illegal. It's just a Ford.
That's not what I'm concerned about with legality.
It's a Mustang.
Yeah, and also I'm going to say something definitely legitimate. I don't want any problems with the chantry in this place.
And he'll text back. All right. Carl Williamson is the guy you're going to want to talk to. He operates out of the north. He operates a lot out of the north part of Seattle, and he'll send you a phone number for him.
All right, cool. And then I guess I'm just going to say, can't wait to talk with everybody in 2 days.
All right. So the night draws to a close. Dawn begins to peek over as everybody enters their various places of repose. And another day passes in Seattle, which all of you mercifully sleep through. Your rest is uneasy, however. There's a faint tinge of agitation, almost like the city is holding its breath before it jumps in the water. And most of you can feel it slightly, even as you're unconscious and resting. Lysander and Gabriel, give me a perception and empathy difficulty 8. Naomi, difficulty 6.
Okay, I assume that's my reduction.
Non-reducible.
Yep.
Wait, what? Hang on.
Perception and empathy.
Don't
Gabriel
you have a dot in empathy?
All of my dots went away. Oh no, that's Serenity. I was looking at the wrong. I was looking at the wrong sheet. I was like, all of my dots are gone. I've got
4
much higher perception
successes.
than that.
If this is tactical.
It is not.
Okay.
Do I get a reduction from all specs or not?
No reduction from aspects.
I was still waiting for my dice. They're still rolling.
1 success.
0 successes.
Okay. So yeah, Lysander, your rest is a little uneasy, but when you do wake up, you'll simply remember that something was kind of bothering you in the back of your brain overnight, but nothing significant. Gabriel, you have a level of concern that wafts through whatever passes for your dreams that evening. There's a worry and a faint unease that dogs you throughout the day. Naomi, when your eyes close, it's as though there's a brief heartbeat of unconsciousness, and then your eyes snap back open, and you're seated out in front of the statue of Lenin.
Okay.
You're in broad daylight.
Am I
Sunlight
dying?
burning down on you, but no, you're not on fire.
Okay.
Roll me courage at difficulty 5.
This is why I had those dots already there. 3 successes.
Okay, so yeah, you're sort of in that lucid dreaming state where you're aware, okay, this isn't real, and this is something that I kind of remember. I remember being able to walk outside in the daylight, and the fact that your physiology isn't being incinerated currently makes it a lot easier for you to sort of readjust on the fly to, oh crap.
Dream logic. Cool.
Yes, pretty much. And as you look around, you see that kind of passers-by, the populace, are wandering in and out. And probably about 10% of them are skeletons. The rest of them are normal. And nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to mind. But your attention is very quickly drawn overhead as a shadow passes over you. Not a diaphanous shadow like a cloud usually is, but a hard-edged, solid shadow. And you gaze up into an emaciated, clawed hand about the size of 3 or 4 city blocks, with bits of string tied to all of the fingers, trailing down towards the ground. You can't see where any of the pieces of string land, but there's a very sort of puppet mastery feeling to this looming appendage that's just sort of floating disembodied over the Seattle skyline right now.
Left hand or right hand?
Left hand.
Okay.
And you hear a voice. Well, that's disconcerting. It's coming from behind you, probably about 3 or 4 feet to the left.
Turning in a very graceful way, like a little spin to face that.
It's Matilda.
I'll tilt my head. Dream talk or no?
You can try.
It's not great.
Not at all. What's the count up to now?
I assume Naomi remembers. Oh, it's higher than that. Or deaths or ravens?
Your guess.
Okay. Can I do a memory check for how many birds it was last time?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got eidetic memory.
Yeah.
And the last time was outside your window in your old apartment, right?
Mm-hmm.
That should have been 10, I believe.
All right.
Yeah, full 10.
10 with birds, 4 with deaths at once.
Well, 10 is the upper limit. 4, though. 5, 6, 7. 3 is an interesting number. Do you feel safe?
Never.
Good. Your mind, it's solidifying. And she reach out a finger and tap you twice on the forehead as if she's listening for a hollow sound. Have you been learning?
I've been watching.
Sometimes those are the same thing.
I like it when they are.
Well, let's see what this thing wants. And she steps out into the open area in front of the statue and assumes the pose of basically a dangling marionette. She's facing you at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you see one of her eyes wash over completely white. And her limbs begin to spasm almost. And then you see that their movements are being mirrored by this giant hand floating above her. The strings still lead out of sight somewhere into the depths of the city, but the movements of the fingers that are several hundred feet in the air are indicating that Matilda's being walked down the street. She turns and begins to maneuver through the crowd.
All right, I'm following.
Okay. And it'll walk for about a block. And then a second block. And she's headed south towards the water. And then once she gets to the water's edge, on the other side of the little foot trail that runs the length of the cut, she looks down. She begins to dance, a waltz with an invisible partner. Up and down, fluctuating back and forth along the bank of the water there. And as Naomi watches, the water begins to bubble and boil. Steam starts to rise. And then with a flash, this enormous cloud of water vapor erupts. And the Fremont Cut, this waterway that separates the north part of Seattle from the southern, is now a trench filled with fire.
Ha! Damn it, Gabriel.
And somewhere in the back of your mind, slowly becoming more audible and more audible. And it's got a tinny, almost kind of Victrola, old wax recording type sound to it. But someone is blaring the Blue Danube Waltz over the Fremont neighborhood as your sire is dancing with an invisible partner up and down alongside this trench of open flame. And just as the music crescendos, you glance up to see the fingers flick forward, and Matilda cartwheels over the edge into the fire and just incinerates in a brief moment with a shriek of agony. And there's a faint whisper in the back of your mind. Goodbye, my child. And then you wake up. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
That was muted. All right, so this has been Vampire the Masquerade Walking Shadow. Thank you very much for watching. We appreciate all of you for watching. If you like what we do and you'd like to see more, you can check us out on our website at foundryfilms.com. You also check us out on our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms. If you'd like to support us financially, you can do so on the Patreon page. We appreciate all of our patrons, especially our $25 tier supporters, Chris Comfort and Antitonic, without whom we wouldn't be able to do quite as much of the stuff that we do. And we'd also like to thank 411mania.com for putting our stuff up there. 411mania.com is a geek culture website. They do articles and news related to wrestling, MMA, gaming, music, all forms of entertainment. And yeah, so thank them for putting our stuff up, and go check them out because they do lots of good work. Pretty much that's it. So yeah, we'll see y'all next time. Bye. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
See you later.
Goodbye.